Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report with Yvette Walker, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them.
Welcome and thank you for joining the Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm Yvette Walker, live, blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, serving a population of over 25 million. Get us crystal clear and on demand by downloading the free live streaming app on Google Play or the Apple App Store. As always, a huge shout out to the team, Mitch, Bill, and Sean. I love you guys. And to our special advisory committee, Bill Morris, UCI School of Business, Jose and Camila Rubio. Thank you so much. Well, guys, today I have a powerhouse female leader of our state. I'm so extremely proud to introduce Miss Fiona Ma. She is California's 34th state treasurer. She was elected on November 6th of 2018 with more votes than any other candidate for treasurer in the state's history. She is the first woman of color and the first woman certified public accountant elected to the position. The state treasurer's office was created in the California Constitution in 1849. It provides financing for schools, roads, housing, recycling, and waste management, hospitals, public facilities, and other crucial infrastructure projects that better the lives of residents. California is the world's fifth largest economy, and Treasurer Ma is the state's primary banker. Her office processes more than $2 trillion in transactions within a typical year. She provides transparency and oversight for the government's investment portfolio and accounts, as well as for the state's surplus funds. Treasurer Ma oversees an estimate investment portfolio that has averaged well over $100 billion during her administration, a significant portion of which is beneficially owned by more than 2,200 local governments in California. She serves as agent of sale for all state bonds and is trustee of billions of dollars of state indebtedness. Thank you so much for being with us today, Ms. Ma.
Thank you. Thank you, Yvette, for having me back again. Great to see you.
Yes, I love having you because the updates that you provide are just brilliant. I love that you're here at the beginning of the year so that you can give us, maybe a brief forecast of your office, what your goals are, and what you're looking to do in your next term, as you were newly elected recently this past November as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I guess to recap the last 4 years, my first year that I got elected in 2018, sworn in 2019, things were still humming in the state of California. Low interest rates, people were, refinancing and buying and selling stock and taking vacation and all the things that, we had been doing for the past 10 years. And then obviously COVID hit in 20 and 21. And it was very daunting. As the state treasurer, I'm the state banker, so all of the money comes into my office. So we had to stay open with 100 employees, making sure that we still continue to collect all the revenues and, transfer the money to the controller so that she could pay the bills. We also issued a lot of bonds through the last 2 years. And many of you saw that there were a lot of construction and infrastructure projects happening outside your window. So we were able to expedite some of those projects since people were staying home. But clearly, I was worried every day, right? Worried, are we going to, make enough money, generate enough revenues? People were suffering, they were struggling, not being able to pay their rent and mortgage payments. I mean, there's so many things happening, as you know. And so pretty surprised that we had a healthy surplus the first year. Thanks to capital gains, personal income taxes, and as well as a lot of sales taxes, since we weren't going out, but we were all spending money in the state, right? And so that generated a lot of sales taxes. And then the second year of COVID, 2021, we actually saw a $90 billion surplus again through high personal income tax, stock options, stock bonuses, capital gains, people selling, assets, and again, more sales taxes in the state. And so, on one hand, right, COVID. On the other hand, hey, the revenues were doing good. And then now, our fourth year, we are seeing a deficit, predicted deficit in the budget that the governor just released on January 10th. And so we're back to, seeing those slowdowns and, pushing out some of the projects, some of the, one-time expenditures that was supposed to be funded last year are going to be put on hold. And we're hoping for the best that, people are going to, generate personal income taxes and as well as sales taxes and potentially, the $22.5 billion deficit that the governor is projecting this year. Hopefully won't be as bad, or maybe we'll have a surplus again. Who knows?
Right. Well, talk about an interesting time to be serving in the capacity that you're serving, right? Like you said, COVID, California being the fifth largest economy and having its own unique challenges as we went through COVID, right? We had the supply chain issues, and that obviously affects the sales tax revenue and all these things. But before we get into that, I really want you to share a little bit about what motivated you and your background to pursue the office as a treasurer, because you are the first woman treasurer of the state of California as well. Please talk a little bit about that journey and what motivated you, what inspired you to take such a huge role, and one of great responsibility in our state.
Thank you. I'm actually probably the third woman elected official since 1849. But I am the first woman of color and the first woman certified public accountant to hold this position. I never thought I would be the treasurer of the state of California. I never thought I would even be in public office. Both my parents were born in China, immigrated to Hong Kong, met in Canada, and finally settled down in New York. Since I was good at math, they decided I should be an accountant. So I got my bachelor's degree in accounting, my master's degree in taxation, did all of my audit hours, passed all of my 4 parts of the CPA exam, and specialized in real estate taxation. Left the big 8 accounting firm when I was 28 years old, became president of a small business association. And that was the first time I got involved in politics, having to go and lobby local government, the state, the federal government, and even the private sector for more contracting opportunities for women and minority small businesses. And I started to see that, these politicians or people in politics were deciding, the policy issues, were deciding where the money was going to go, right? Who was going to get certain funding and allocations. And I started getting very interested. I got appointed to a local commission, the Assessment Appeals Board, where I heard property tax appeal cases. I joined a lot of organizations. I did a lot of pro bono filings for candidates, my friends that were running for office. And just more and more, public service just kept tugging at me as I started to understand that we need to be at the table, right? We're either on the menu or we're at the table. Right. And so that is so true when it comes to politics and getting elected. And so I just got more interested. I kind of asked my parents, please bless me, let me run for office. And you can imagine my parents were so proud that I was an accountant, a CPA. I had my own company. And it took 8 years before they finally relented, kind of. They did by leaving the state. They moved to Nevada, and I was able to run for office. And that was my first time 20 years ago. Time flies. 2002, I got elected to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. Had a kind of a tough time. I was only the second woman, the only Asian out of 11 members of the board. And so I kind of spent most of my time outside of City Hall, but working with constituents, doing the cleanups and building playgrounds and moving stop signs and bus stops and all the stuff that people want from their local elected official. And then I got an opportunity to run for the state assembly. I was the majority whip for 4 years and the speaker pro tem, the deputy speaker for my last 6 years. And that was under 3 different speakers, 2 different governors during the Great Recession. So I'm kind of used to and comfortable being in these deficit situations. And then I got elected to the State Board of Equalization, the tax board, mostly collecting state sales taxes. And then in 2018, got elected to state treasurer. So I guess the lesson learned here for all the young people out there, listen to your parents. They want the best for you, right? They can see what you're good at an early age and encourage you to go down that path. But later on, you may not want to do that. Like, I don't think my calling was to sit and do people's taxes. And so come full circle, 20 years later, now that I'm the treasurer, my parents are finally proud of me that I am not wasting my education and my private sector experience and actually putting everything to work here at the treasurer's office. So I feel very comfortable here, very honored that the voters re-elected me last year. And I have a lot of things I want to work on and accomplish. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about some of it in the next hour.
Absolutely. And so I love that you shared that very deep experience in public service, right? Because really, you talked about a lot of pro bono work, a lot of support, and that's really what it takes, right? And that's how you learn about the different dynamics. And I'm sure it's what called you to see those opportunities and advocate, for the communities that maybe are, head by minorities, right? Because as you so beautifully mentioned, you're the first woman of color to represent the treasurer's office in our state. And I'm sure your parents are extremely proud to see you hold, the #1 CPA treasurer's office in the entire state of California, the fifth largest.
We're the fourth largest economy now.
Oh, so. The fourth. So tell us about that. How did our economy grow since the last time that we were looking at the fifth largest economy?
Yes. So the U.S. is the first largest, China, Japan, and we are #4 if we were a country. And we recently surpassed Germany to be the fourth largest economy. And I really attribute that to the strong work ethic, the strong immigrant community, the diversity here. Many folks have come here recently or not so recently, like myself, a first generation, but believe in that American dream, that every day we work hard, we can be what we want, achieve what we want. There are no barriers or challenges here in the state of California. And so that is what I think got us out of the pandemic. We all wanted to get back to work, get moving again, right? And then also, now that we are back open, I think we're all just very, very hungry to continue to strive and catch up. The 2 years that we missed, staying home, I think a lot of us did pivot and think about, other ways, what we wanted to do and contribute and maybe endeavor in our life. But others of us are like, we need to open. We need to, get open, back to work, hire more people, et cetera. And so our can-do attitude was really the resilient factor here. And that's why I think we did move past Germany as the fourth largest economy.
Absolutely. And I love how you framed the diversity of our state, right? Because like you, I'm also a first generation here in the US. My mother is from Mexico. And, having that strong work ethic and knowing that, as long as you invest yourself, you're disciplined and hardworking, there are opportunities, right? It's just a matter of identifying them, sticking to them, and working hard to make them a reality, right? So with that said, tell us a little bit about what, maybe your top 3 goals are for this year as we move through 2023.
Sure. So I've been working really hard on affordable housing, building more affordable housing. I oversee the bond allocation committee and the tax credit committee that goes to subsidize affordable housing projects. And we have done a lot to streamline the processes, put everything under one roof, have one application, streamline our terminology, our regulations to efficiently move out those tax credits and bonds. We got 2 allocations of federal disaster tax credits, for those counties that were devastated by wildfires in 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. And we got the first tranche out early and efficiently, that the federal government gave us another tranche for the next year. And so I kind of include that as a pat on the back, for me and my team, that we were able to do that in the midst of the pandemic, by the way, that we were still able to work virtually and everybody was able to get the job done. So housing, for example, I'm just going to pull up some statistics because I know we're going to talk about the Inland Empire,
Yes.
Riverside, and San Bernardino. But since 1989 in Riverside County, we have created more than 20,000 affordable units. And in San Bernardino, it's 12,000 units. And these units, most of them are new construction. So they are more difficult to build. It takes a little bit more time and effort in terms of financing and construction and, all of the things that goes into building new units. But you should be seeing a lot more happening in the Inland Empire, and probably more in the high desert as we talk about the new Brightline project or the new Barstow Inland Port that is going to be created. So housing is definitely a priority of mine, and we'll have a big allocation meeting tomorrow, and that is kind of top of mind. Secondly, the governor and the legislature have invested a lot into children's poverty, alleviating children's poverty. And they have created child savings accounts for every newborn born after July 1st of this year. They will get $100 in their child savings account. And that money will compound with interest and will grow until the child goes to higher education or will go to a certified apprenticeship program. In addition, every 1st through 12th grader on free and reduced lunch, they will get $500 in a child savings account. This is free money, right?
Right.
$500. If they're homeless, they'll get another $500. And if they're a foster youth, they will get another $500. And so we have been doing a lot of outreach this past year, just letting communities know, school districts know that this money is available to their children. So over 534,000 students have money that they can use for their educational opportunities, but they haven't even accessed yet. So I'm hoping through your radio show and other partnerships that we develop with other school districts and others that we are going to be able to sign up more kids. Another great program that we are going to launch is the Dream for All program. And the state of California is going to provide down payment assistance to first-time low-income individuals who want to own their first home. Many people cannot save up to 20%, right, for a home, even in different parts of the state. And so we are going to be able to provide that down payment assistance with zero costs, zero fees, and we will make up the money at the back end when the homeowner either sells their property or refinances it. And then the money will come back into a revolving loan fund so that other potential homeowners can access it. So we think that that is a big game changer, right? The American dream is about buying your home, because when you buy your own home, you actually build equity. And that is something that I learned at an early age of 22 years old. When my parents had extra savings for me after college, I put it toward my first home, and I was able to build equity even today. So it's a game changer for many individuals.
Absolutely. And so with that program, what is there a range of money that is available for that down payment, or is it based on the value of the property, of the home, the condominium? How do you calculate that amount that you disperse to these potential new home buyers?
Yeah, the set aside was $500 million in this first tranche, and the California Housing Finance Authority is working on the guidelines in terms of how to help the most amount of individuals who need the most amount of help. So they are working on it right now. Hopefully we'll roll out our first loans this summer, but it is really exciting, and people should, work with their local, small business development centers. There's a lot of nonprofits out there trying to help potential home buyers get their credit rating up to snuff, how to get their paperwork in order so that when we do open up the program, that they're ready and not, behind the eight ball.
Right, right. I love that. And so for people that are interested in learning more about the program that, starts off these kids, right, with $100 or $500, depending on their social dynamic, which is, it sounds like it grows over time, right? It compounds interest. Number one, what does that projection look like for each child when they reach the age of 18? And number two, how can people connect with that program? Where do they need to go? Is there an application process? And how can we get the word out there to get more people to apply for this tremendous benefit?
Yeah, so parents or guardians should log on to the website www.calkids.org and register their their child or their guardian. Very, very easy to do. That money, that $100, if you're a newborn, that $100 will grow over time, usually 18 years, depending on the interest rate. So I cannot tell you right now, but I will get you that number. And then first through 12th grade, depending on what age they are, up until when they go to college, that number is going to grow and compound at the given interest rate that is out there. However, we are really trying to get parents to open up a Scholarshare 529 account, scholarshare529.com, where parents, grandparents, loved ones, can contribute to a child college savings account. So those free Cal Kids accounts, parents and others cannot contribute. That money grows. It is like a state fund for children. If they don't use it by the time they're 26 years old, that money goes back into the pot for other kids.
Got
but
it.
Scholarshare 529 is a savings program. And when you open it up, you can send around a gift link. So during birthdays and holidays, instead of asking people to give them a gift, they can actually put money into the Scholarshare 529 account. So those two programs in conjunction will help grow a child savings account quicker. I know that I say you save a latte a day during work week. Yes. That's about $100 a month. You put $100 a month into the account for 18 years. That could go up to about $50,000 or more, depending on the rate of interest. So, do it slowly, put it aside, set it and forget it is what we say. But this money does grow. It compounds. We manage it. It's easy. You can see it on your screen. You can, change the the fund that you want to put the money in. But it is something that is easy to do, and I hope more parents and guardians will do this for their loved ones.
Please share again the link that parents and guardians and loved ones can go to access these amazing programs.
Yeah, scholarshare529.com. And the first one was calkids.com. And you can link your CalKids account with your Scholarshare 529 account so that you can see it when you open up your account. You will see the balances for both accounts.
Beautiful. All right. Well, we're coming up on a break. So for those listening, I'm Yvette Walker on Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV, talking with Fiona Ma. She is a CPA and the 34th California State Treasurer, leading the office's vital role as the state's banker, managing approximately $3.1 trillion in banking transactions, the selling of bonds, managing bond debt, and managing the state's investment portfolio, which has averaged more than $100 billion in assets over the course of her administration. When we return.
Hi, Ray Lance from the Diamond Center in the Claremont Village here. One of the coolest parts of a third-generation family business is getting to know the families we serve through generations. Once you experience our friendly service, our fair and transparent pricing, and our beautiful jewelry that we make to last a lifetime, you'll stick with us too. Come visit us in the Claremont Village or at Lantz, Lantz, diamondcenter.com and see what makes us different.
Cal State San Bernardino is home to the only School of Entrepreneurship in California. With globally ranked degree programs, you can start your journey today to become a successful entrepreneur. Learn more and connect at entre.csusb.edu.
City of Hope is driven to making a difference in the lives of people with cancer and diabetes. We accomplish this by conducting innovative research and providing outstanding care. If you or a loved one has received a cancer diagnosis, go to cityofhope.org to learn more about how our innovative approach could change your outcome.
Every 2 seconds, someone needs a blood transfusion. Be on the giving side. Livestream Blood Bank supports patients in 80 Southern California hospitals. Call 1-800-TRY-GIVING for more information and to set an appointment.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily non-stop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
Hi, I'm San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. If you're looking to start an exciting career in law enforcement and make a difference in your community, we are hiring dispatchers, nurses, deputies, laterals, and many more. For a complete list of our jobs and more information, visit sheriffsjobs.com.
The University of La Verne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in La Verne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of La Verne. go.laverne.edu.
Welcome back. For those listening, I'm Yvette Walker on Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks, KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV. I'm here talking with Fiona Ma, CPA, the 34th California State Treasurer, leading the office's vital role as the state's banker, managing approximately $3.1 trillion in banking transactions, the selling of bonds, managing bond debt, and managing the state's investment portfolio, which has averaged more than $100 billion in assets over the course of her administration. Thank you again for being with us today, Ms. Ma.
Thank you, Yvette.
Wonderful. And so prior to the break, you talked about these amazing programs that you have. It's the Cal Kids program and the program that also invests either $100 or $500 to assist with the child's, future education. Please talk a little bit more about that as we transition into the next topics.
Okay. So Cal Kids is free child savings accounts for every newborn born after July 1st of 2022, and also for 1st through 12th graders who are on free and reduced lunch, they will get $500 into their account. So if you're a senior right now, definitely log on to calkids.org, get your $500 in your account, and if you get into a university, you'll be able to use that $500 immediately toward your tuition or your books. So it's free money for you. The state's commitment to alleviating child poverty and encouraging more young people to dream about going to higher education or an apprenticeship program.
Right. And also prior to the break, you mentioned a $500 million program aimed at assisting low-income families with the purchase of their first home. Please, just reiterate a little bit more about that program and talk about how people can connect.
Yeah, so this is the Dream for All fund that the state will help potential low-income first-time home buyers buy their first home by providing that down payment assistance at zero cost, 0 points to you if you qualify, and we will get paid back when the homeowner either refinances or sells their home, so that the money will go back into a revolving fund so that others can use it. So this program right now is in the works. The California Housing Finance Agency is working on the regulations, the guidelines, and the competitive process. And hopefully by this summer, we will be rolling out our first set of down payment assistance loans.
Beautiful. And so prior to the break, you also mentioned two big projects that are occurring in the region, which is San Bernardino, Riverside counties. These two projects actually are in San Bernardino County, one of which is the big project, right? The Barstow International Gateway that you spoke about. And then also the Brightline project, which is that direct rail system that's going to be heading to Las Vegas direct. From, I believe, Rancho Cucamonga. So please talk a little bit about those projects and how they fit into the big scheme of things when it talks about the economic potential and your role in your office.
Sure. So I grew up in New York on Long Island and took the railroad, LIRR, into the city like everybody else did. You don't really drive into Manhattan because there's not really any parking. So everyone takes the train and then walks, takes the subway or takes a cab around Manhattan. So I grew up in that culture, and coming out to California, that system doesn't really exist. But I am a very big fan of rail and trains. And so when I was on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, we have been trying to plan and build a new Transbay station. The high-speed rail initiative was on the ballot twice. It had been postponed. And when I got elected to the state assembly, I took it upon myself to try to get the initiative on the ballot, let the people decide so that we can build the San Francisco Transbay station either with or without high-speed rail. And so I spent my first 2 years keeping it on the ballot, getting many coalitions as possible and supporters. And during the Great Recession, November 2008, the voters voted for high-speed rail, close to 53% of the vote. So I was kind of inspired. Since then, it's taken a little bit of effort, additional effort to build our California High-Speed Rail Authority. And so while we were waiting for that, Brightline came into my office and said, "Hey, Ms. Ma, we would like to inform you that we have bought the right-of-way from Victorville, Apple Valley to Las Vegas." And I knew that railway, that right-of-way system because it had popped up, in my travels. And I said, "Okay, so what do you need?" And they said, "Well, what would you like? How would you envision this being done?" And they have partnered with the federal government, with the state government, with the local government, as well as the transit agencies, to come up with a project that is going to be a win-win. Right. People also said, "Well, are people really going to drive to Apple Valley or Victorville, park their cars, and they get on a train? It's not that convenient." And so they said, "Okay, let's have a station in Rancho Cucamonga." So they bought a pretty big footprint in Rancho Cucamonga, and now people will be able to get on a train in Union Station, take the metro out to Rancho Cucamonga, and then take the Brightline train all the way to Las Vegas. And the beauty is you can check your bags in either at Union Station or in Rancho Cucamonga, and your bag will show up in your hotel room. So you don't have to mess around with that, right?
Wow.
So when you get on there, you can enjoy with your friends, eat and drink, and then get to Vegas, and then also, be able to come home in comfort without having to access, drive your car. Now, for those of you who go to Vegas, I don't go to Vegas. I don't gamble. I'm not, I don't go to watch like sporting events, but this will be an all-electric train. It will remove 3 million cars per year, and it will take 3 hours. 3 hours in a car. Sometimes if you're on the road, sometimes it takes, 6 hours or 9 hours or more. And we think that this is going to be a game changer. 40,000 construction jobs are coming. 1,000 permanent jobs. $10 billion in economic impact, and $1 billion in tax revenues. So this is really going to be a game changer for the high desert and all of the cities and communities along the way. And that's going to mean more housing, more jobs, more opportunities for folks so they don't have to commute, 2 or 3 hours, to downtown LA, for example, if they can actually, work closer to where they live. So it solves a lot of problems. It checks off a lot of issues. I just did a panel with the Inland Empire Regional Chamber of Commerce. It was a full house. The panel members were, from different sectors, and we all said that this Bright Line project is going to solve a lot of the problems that we have all been facing and lamenting about over the last, decade or so.
Right, right. And so with that said, please talk a little bit about the big project, right? The Barstow International Gateway project, which is also slated to start off at least with 40,000 workers to help build the infrastructure for it, and over a 10-year period. How does the timing on those two projects look in terms of, will they be running consecutively and be completed around the same time? What do those timelines look like? And what is the impact that you first see as the Barstow International Gateway, just launches and breaks ground and starts channeling all of those goods from the Port of Long Beach and the Port of LA throughout our country?
Yeah, so right now, Brightline has submitted an application to the federal government to see how much funding that they can receive, and once they do, then they will look. They may or may not need supplemental funding from the state of California and Nevada in terms of private activity bonds, and then they hopefully will do their groundbreaking by the end of this year. I also, in October of last year, went to the big announcement where BNSF, one of the big commercial rail lines, they're going to invest $1.5 billion to construct a state-of-the-art master plan rail facility, kind of the inland ports, right? So that goods can get offloaded at Long Beach, Los Angeles, take a train all the way to Barstow, and then that's where they're going to set up their facility to pack and repackage and distribute from there, and then it will go out from Barstow. They purchased 4,500 acres in Barstow to create this inland port. So it is, again, going to revolutionize what is going to happen, the economic development, the impact that's going to be happening in the Barstow area. So there's going to be so much, activity. That I hope, that whole region is going to get very, very excited, and they hopefully are going to also, break ground this year as well. So they're going to kind of work simultaneously together, just depending on, weather conditions and funding and all of that. But it's happening, and it's going to happen, going to start happening this year, I think.
Oh, that is so exciting. And so with that said, Ms. Ma, first of all, thank you so much for your attention to the region and for identifying these opportunities and being supportive of these projects. Please talk a little bit about your view of the Inland Empire and what makes it unique in the state of California.
Yeah, the Inland Empire is one of the fastest growing regions here in California. Hardworking, a lot of immigrants who, couldn't afford houses close to the big cities have moved out there. And so I see this whole can-do, resiliency out there. People, want to work. They have 2, sometimes 3 jobs just to make ends meet and to make sure that their families, have a better life. And so that's the Inland Empire. But a lot of folks have not been engaged or connected with resources. English may not be their first language per se. They may not have access to capital. And so that region has been behind, even though they have a lot of ingenuity and, work ethic. They haven't been getting a lot of the resources that they should have been getting because of, a lot of the different reasons that I cited. So I have taken upon myself to make sure that all regions in the state of California, rural communities, tribal communities, especially, that they have access to these resources. During the pandemic, I did 300 Zoom webinars, just educating, letting people know, connecting them to resources, making me and my office available if anybody has any questions or, challenges that they are facing. pushing out the money. We got $27 billion from the federal government for COVID relief, and
Right.
making sure that everybody has equal access, if not to make sure that we are looking after, those parts of the regions that traditionally haven't gotten the attention that they need. And so that is, my commitment. I'm down on the Inland Empire a lot, as you know. I'm excited about all these projects. I consider myself the economic development specialist here, just trying to get companies here, connect them with resources, tell them where or where they may not be welcome, what cities and counties are open to what type of businesses, and then make those connections and hopefully have them establish here and then grow their businesses here in California. So it's been exciting. This job is not only managing the money as the banker, but it's also giving out the money. That's the exciting part.
Right, right. Yeah. And so with that said, I love the way you frame it, because the reality is, just in general, right? We're only as strong as our weakest links. So it's imperative that all of our communities have access to the resources necessary, to grow and to serve their communities. And so with that said, I just want to bring up, that recently residents of San Bernardino County voted in favor of Measure EE, which is a policy designed to support elected representatives for San Bernardino County to research and advocate for all methods for receiving an equitable share of state funding resources. How, if at all, will that involve your office, Ms. Ma?
I followed that measure pretty closely, and since I have been down in the region, I know that there are a lot of folks that feel like the region has not gotten their fair share of, grants or bonds or loans, and that's why I'm down there, is because I understand and I kind of feel their pain, and so I'm trying to level the playing field by making sure that we are looking after some of your great assets, like Loma Linda, for example. When I got elected, Loma Linda was trying to expand their children's hospital. They had a little bit of difficulties, I think more communication issues, with my office before I got elected. And I was able to go out and visit Loma Linda, understood what the communication gap was, and we successfully allocated $172 million in grants.
Wow.
For the children's hospital, for their new children's tower, and to purchase equipment. Recently, they put in another application for the remainder, $135 million. This is the remainder of the funds that is available to them under Prop 4. They will be coming up for a vote on January 26th, and these, if approved, it would go toward a new pediatric medical office building, a NICU expansion, pediatric oncology and infusion center expansion, pediatric operating rooms renovation, new pediatric psych inpatient unit, and pediatric equipment. So this is the biggest hospital, in your region, and many people, called me and said, why aren't they getting their funding? They need it. Make sure, you're looking after the residents out here. And so that kind of, jump started, my journey into the Inland Empire is really this Loma Linda Hospital project.
Right. Well, thank you so much for that, because as you were able to gather, it was very needed, and that you were able to allocate those funds is a huge asset to our community, locally, regionally, statewide, because as you mentioned, Loma Linda is the largest hospital here, and people travel from all around the country to visit Loma Linda for their services, right?
Yes, yes. And it has been a game changer. We also were able to fund the Arrowhead Regional Medical Center in the city of Colton. So they were awarded $15 million for renovating, furnishing, and equipping an inpatient psychiatric unit for adolescents. So we have a lot of money at the federal and state level, but a lot of folks in your region don't know about it. And so we have done a lot of outreach. And I will give you a couple of examples.
Yes.
I also oversee a sales tax exemption program. This is for companies who buy big equipment that is cleaning and greening the environment. And so being able to save that 7.5% to 11% sales tax on the purchase of this equipment is, a game changer for many of these companies. And over the past 4 years, we have awarded sales tax exemptions to a number of companies in your region: the Inland Empire Utilities Agency for wastewater and food waste biogas capture and production, the Lollycup USA Inc. for recycled food packaging manufacturing, Vivo Team, animal feed and organic fertilizers, Paradigm Packaging West medical devices and component manufacturing, the Rialto Bioenergy Facility for biogas capture and production, MP Materials Corp. This is rare earth materials production, the East Valley Water District, again for biogas capture and production, and also CR&R Incorporated, which does mixed paper and mixed organic recycling. So lots of companies out there as well. And so I come out and visit, and word of mouth, they get the word out that, hey, this is available and can help companies grow here in the state.
And so where can companies, business owners go to, connect with those resources? And can you please talk about other programs that you have designed that assist and benefit small business owners as well?
Yeah, so I will give you my email. A direct email is askfiona@treasure.ca.gov. askfiona@treasure.ca.gov. I have Catherine Asprey, my specialist, who that is her job, is to answer all emails, phone calls, text messages that come in. So if you heard of something I talked about today, you need more information, please email me. She will get back to you. It's not easy to find because the money is allocated to many different agencies, and there's not one portal where you can go to at this moment where you're like, hey, I am this, and what do I qualify for? So It is kind of incumbent on people listening to your radio station that to get the information out. But another program that is coming is to help small businesses. We received $1 billion from the federal government to provide additional loan loss guarantees and loan loss reserves for participating finance companies who are willing to lend to harder to lend individuals or businesses. So it creates an incentive for them to loan out money, because if something happens and they don't get paid back for some reason, the state is going to pay them back. So this is $1 billion extra that's going to be available to help small business owners, micro business entrepreneurs grow and expand. And we're working with the local community development agencies, the local small business development centers. These are free resources for you. Your Small Business Development Center, SBDCs. They provide free consultation services. They will help you, connect you, educate you on some of the available grant, loan, and bond programs out there. So please use them. But again, this is going to be more money to loan out to those communities that don't have traditional access to capital.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And briefly, Ms. Ma, please, we know that many hands make light of work, right? And it's easy to talk and maybe say and express ideas or even grievances, but a whole nother thing to actually participate and engage and serve, right? And I understand you have a multitude of programs, committees, and things of that nature. Are there opportunities for people in those industries to engage and be a part of those committees? And if so, what does it take to connect and serve?
Yeah, all of my agencies, I oversee 16 boards, commissions, authorities, and divisions. They are all, well, actually 13 are all public meetings. So we have monthly meetings, our minutes are online, all the documents that we talk about, the handouts, whatever public comments that are submitted are all online. So you can go to my website, www.treasure.ca.gov, and scan through all the programs. Everything is up there. But if you don't understand, or you're in a specialty industry, or you're just saying, hey, you know what, I don't have time. You know, what do you got for me? Like, I manufacture shoes, or I manufacture, you know, plastic bottles. Like, how do I do this? Please send me an email, askfiona@treasure.ca.gov. Also on my Twitter site, @Fiona Ma, is where I post all of the latest grants and bond programs and resources, things that people should know. Like right now, because of the heavy rains, President Biden did declare 3 counties for emergency, um,
And
the ability to apply for low interest small business loans under the U.S. Small Business Administration for the counties of Sacramento, Santa Cruz, and Merced counties. And as the rains continue to fall, more counties may be added. But these are the type of information that I do put on my Twitter site, @Fiona Ma on Twitter. It's also a great place to keep in touch with what I'm promoting out there.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing what it is that you're doing, your hard work for all of California, and identifying and supporting the communities that really, really need it. Thank you so much for being with us today, Miss Ma.
Thank you so much, Yvette. Great seeing you again.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, everybody listening, don't forget to check out Southern California Business Report on YouTube, and don't miss my coverage of the 134th Pasadena Rose Parade with my friend Jose Vargas Ulloa, the Latino cyber guy. And if you're looking for something to do tonight, the Empire Strikers, our professional indoor soccer team, will be playing the Baltimore Blast this evening at Toyota Arena in Ontario with a kickoff of 6:05 and tickets starting at just $5. Upcoming matches with the Dallas Sidekicks for Law Enforcement Appreciation Night this Friday, January 20th, starting at 7:05, and Sunday, January 22nd, with a kickoff of 3:05 p.m. Again with the Dallas Sidekicks, and tickets starting at only $5. Don't miss my interview with Matt Wilson and Maya Ivanova of Wilson Ivanova Certified Public Accountants, both founding partners of Wilson Ivanova. Matt is past president of the Inland Empire chapter of Cal CPA, past chair and current member of the Accounting Advisory Board at California State University, San Bernardino, and a member of the California State University's Dean's Advisory Board, and also teaches auditing and financial reporting in the undergraduate and graduate program at California State University, San Bernardino. Maya has been a speaker for various organizations, including Inland Empire Risk Management Association, Construction Financial Management Association, guest lecturer at California State University, San Bernardino, and the Toolbox Construction Software Conference. Next week, we will have Dan Oweling. He is part owner and president of Pacman Incorporated in Fullerton, California. It's a company that provides visually dynamic marketing solutions to the aviation and aerospace industry and other event-related industries. The company is celebrating its 75th anniversary, and Dan has been with the company since 1991. Everybody, tune in next week. You do not want to miss it. Have a great one.